Give us your background and where you come from, and what
Yeah.
what led you to this new position.
Yeah. So I'll try to keep it brief. But so I am from Tulsa, Oklahoma originally. I first moved to Fort Smith in 2011, and I took a job as a pastor, and I did that for 5 years, and left and became a pastor at a church in the DFW area. I was there for a couple of years, and then went to Northwest Arkansas for a couple of years, and ultimately came back 2 years ago, because of the things that drew me here in the first place, which were the friendships, the relationships, the community, the support that we received. Um, I don't want to share my entire sob story, but my family has endured a lot over the past couple years and even prior to that. And the support that we get from this area has been unlike any other. And I say that because I think it's emblematic of our community, not just me personally, but I think that several people sense that about Fort Smith. And that's the kind of stuff that I want to share. This is a community that's a great place to raise a family. We've got a lot going on. Now it's time to share that with the world.
Your background almost seems to make this a perfect fit.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of correlations between being a pastor and doing public relations. I mean, it's a lot of visiting with people, hearing people's stories, and I think um, one of the titles on the door here is public relations and communications manager. And I think, a lot of communication isn't just speaking, it's listening and hearing people's stories and being willing to sit with somebody and then share that story with the world. And I got a chance to do that a lot as a pastor, and now I'm getting the chance to do that for the city. So
What do you see as maybe a short-term goal for this, other than getting settled in and
yeah,
figuring out the lay of the land? What do you see as a short-term goal for yourself in this position?
yeah, there are a few. Um, One would be I love using video, and I've had a lot of videography skills that I've used in the past. I'm looking forward to using that, utilizing that in a way of telling stories, giving people a sense of what's going on in our communities. Um, so that's one. The other one is, we have something called Gov Delivery, which is a way for people to stay on top of what's going on. We're talking some super helpful resources like street closures, if there's flooding in a certain area, safety alerts. All those things happen through Gov Delivery. So I'd really like to see more and more people subscribe to that so that they can stay informed and know what's going on. There's, updates on parks, what's going on with park openings and different events happening. So that's really that in the short term. That's one of my biggest goals because I want to make sure people stay informed. I think that's the two short term right now. Yeah.
Will it also be your job to go and visit each city department and you mentioned listening. I
Yes.
imagine you have a listening tour planned throughout each city
Yes.
department.
Yeah. So, a couple things. One is, yes, I've scheduled several meetings to meet with different city departments and kind of understand what they're wanting to communicate. What are they working on, and how can we share that with people? There's a lot of great things happening that people just have no idea about. And then the other thing is, we have a staff meeting where every department head gets together every other week, and we get a chance to share what's going on in our departments. That's a great chance for me to say, oh, that's something I want to highlight. That's something I want to share with people. So
How much will social media play in what you do every day?
quite a bit. And I recognize a lot of people are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So it's a no-brainer to get the word out that way. But we don't want to limit what we're doing just to those things. So, I would say, 25% of what I'm doing is that. But there's still, I mean, meeting with you, getting a chance to talk to newspapers, and just making sure that there are other ways that people can be informed too, not just social media. So that will be a large part, but not the only part.
How much of your background as a pastor and
Yeah.
listening to good and bad from folks play or help you with this role too? Because Fort Smith residents aren't bashful when it comes to saying what they feel.
Yeah, and I'm glad it's that way. We have a lot of passionate people in our community, um, and I'm not trying just to paint that in just the most positive light. I think truly people want what's best for Fort Smith. So if I go into every conversation thinking this person really wants what's best, it helps paint the rest of the conversation going forward. It allows me to have empathy for that person and try to understand, where are they coming from? Why are they feeling this way? So I like I like getting to do that, and I truly believe the best in people, and maybe that is to my detriment sometimes, but I do truly believe that people have the best interest at heart, that most people by and large are not nefarious. They don't have some scheme to get me or get the city, that they're just really wanting a problem resolved or wanting help with something that they don't know the answer to. So I hope to provide some answers and provide some clarity and really understand where people are and where they're coming from.
All right, Josh, congratulations.
Hey,
Best of
thank you.
luck. I hope it's not too much of brain overload right now, but
No, it's been
congratulations.
great.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, Darren. I really appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing with this community spotlight.